Hey y'all, I'm Rylan. Welcome to my channel. In today's video, we are going to be reading a book and baking a recipe from it. I have picked out Christmas at the Cupcake Cafe by Jenny Colgan, both a Christmas read, which is great for bookmas, as well as a book that features recipes. There are, I want to say 9 or 10 throughout the book. I will be baking the recipe from chapter 13. I have not read this book at all yet, but I have been flipping through the chapters, and the recipe that is featured there is hot chocolate brownies. So in the next several clips, I'm going to be trying my hand at making them. I will chat about them, show y'all what I do and how they end up turning out. And then, of course, after that, I will be actually reading this book. I did already make the brownies last week for a Christmas event, so y'all will see that in the past. And then I'm gonna go ahead and dive into this book this week. We'll chat about my thoughts, but I'll be making hot chocolate brownies from chapter 13 of Christmas at the Cupcake Cafe, and then we'll also be reading and chatting about this book. So I hope y'all enjoy, and stay tuned to hear my thoughts on the synopsis and my feelings on the actual book as well. So I tried a little bit of these brownies off screen because they're a little bit different than anything that I have made before. The recipe in this book says that they're supposed to be like a fudgy mix before you put them in the pan. So it's a little bit, not crumbly is the right word, but a lot firmer and not as moist, I guess, as I'm used to brownie batter being, which is fine, but I'm very nervous about how they actually taste. They taste great. They're super chocolatey, so I would definitely recommend like drinking a glass of milk with it if you enjoy milk with your chocolate desserts, but I'm afraid the texture is gonna throw people off. The taste is great. Does it taste like hot cocoa? No, but I did try a piece off to the side once they were done because I'm nervous about them. I was making these specifically for a family Christmas, but I think I may not bring them to the family Christmas because I don't know how I feel about them. I'll show y'all a good square that I made and we'll show y'all. They're very shiny. I mean, it's hard to see in this light, but there are chocolate chips in it, white and dark chocolate chips, and it's just a little bit not crumbly because they're not dry brownies, but because the ratio of flour, I guess, was lower than typical brownies or less than typical brownies, like some sort of ratio is off compared to your usual amount of stuff that you put in brownies. These ones are a little bit more fudgy, I guess, in texture compared to the brownies that I typically, which are super like moist, they melt in your mouth, things like that. So I don't know how I feel about them or how I can market them to people in my family, so I don't want them to think that I'm a bad cook. In terms of taste, I'm giving it like a 7 out of 10. I do really like the taste. I just think that it would be a higher rating if I had a glass of milk next to me also while eating them. But in terms of the texture of them, I'm gonna give it like a 4 or a 5. I double and triple checked the recipe to make sure that I followed everything right, and I did. They look great. They look fine. They look very shiny, but that's kind of just like the fudgy aspect of brownies like this. Again, I'm conflicted. So I'm gonna have Bradley try them when he gets home in a little while, hopefully, and we'll see what his consensus on these are, but I don't know how I'm feeling right now. So taste great, texture is what's throwing me off. So we'll see how it goes, but I did, of course, achieve my dream of making a recipe from a book that I'm reading, so we do love to see that.
I can confirm that the brownies are good. They're very rich, and I like them a lot. I'll probably end up eating a lot of them, so.
Okay, I guess we're taking them with us then. Give them a thumbs up. I wanted to hop in here with a little reading update amidst cleaning my house today, hence why I look like this. Because I'm officially 36% of the way through Christmas at the Cupcake Cafe, and I do not know what to expect with this one, but the reality is different than what I was expecting, I guess, even though I didn't have any super intense thoughts about it going into it. But to give a quick synopsis first, this one is a contemporary fiction novel that follows the lives of several people who are all intertwined together. Our main character, Izzy, she is the owner of a cafe in London, and her boyfriend is overseas in New York right now doing some stuff for his job at the bank. Tensions start to run high the longer that he is gone, and he is also offered a job in the US, and that is causing issues in their relationship, and we do not know what that will look like going forward. We are also following the lives, a little bit less so than Izzy and Austin, but we are also following the lives of Izzy's co-workers, Caroline and Pearl, I believe, and they have their own things in life going on, but all three women work at this cafe. They are getting ready for Christmas, starting their Christmas baking and Christmas decorations and all of those things. But amidst the holiday time, there are some very stressful, tense moments happening just in their individual day-to-day things that are going on. So it's kind of a romance, kind of a contemporary fiction. You've got the holiday vibes, but also it's not a super lighthearted read like I was expecting, which I am okay with personally. I had a hard time with this one at first, but I am liking it a lot. I am almost to chapter 8, and I have not yet reached the chapter that includes the recipe that I baked in the first part of this video, which were the hot cocoa brownies, but I will be getting to it at some point today. The goal is to wrap this one up while I'm cleaning the house. I have it on audio as well as on my Kindle, so I've been doing a little bit of everything when it comes to this one, but so far I am enjoying it despite how heavy it feels at times. It is an enjoyable read and I am liking it. Not my favorite book by any means, but for the holidays and for the recipes, I am glad so far that I've picked it up, and I'm curious to see what the outcome is for everybody. Yeah, we'll see how the rest of the book goes. I'll probably do another update before the end of the book, and we'll see kind of what my final thoughts end up being for it. But so far, very interesting. Love all the baking and just the inclusion of the holidays in this one, and so far, so good. Popping in here with another quick update because I am almost 75% of the way through this book. And y'all, it's actually really sad. It gives all of the Christmas and the holiday vibes, but the tensions running high in these various relationships is honestly really sad. And I don't think I'll end up actually crying while reading it, but I was not expecting to like be feeling these types of emotions while reading this one. I was expecting a fun Christmas story that takes place at a cafe with all of these recipes, and yes, the back kind of hints at that intensity that's going to be happening between the characters, but I wasn't expecting it to be such a forefront to the storyline, but I'm kind of here for it. I feel like I have been reading so many Christmas romances recently, which are great, and they've been super cheerful and happy and very fun for the most part. There has been harder conversations in those storylines as well, but the overall feeling I get when I finish those books is just complete joy and happiness because they're Christmas books and they're romances and they're fun. This one goes a little bit deeper than some of those other ones that I've read, just in terms of what's going on in the characters' lives and how it's affecting them personally, and I'm kind of liking it. It's not going to be a 5-star read for me by any means, I don't think, but I am flying through this one, having a great time with it while listening, while working on chores around the house and things like that, and I cannot wait to wrap it up very soon. I officially wrapped up Christmas at the Cupcake Cafe last night. I am giving this book 4 stars. Honestly, this was very much a surprising read for me, just in terms of how much I ended up liking it. I originally bought this book because of the idea of baking and reading and baking a recipe that comes from a book, specifically a Christmas book, but the more research I was doing, the harder it was to find books that were interesting me that potentially had recipes. This one I could in fact confirm had recipes, and not just one recipe but multiple recipes in it, and so this is the one that I ended up grabbing for this vlog, and honestly very glad that I did. I had a great time with it. A very unexpected holiday read for me, but in a very good way as well. I really enjoyed how Jenny Colgan very well meshes the lives of all of these characters. We have not quite an omniscient third-person POV, but very much towing the line of that omniscience, where we are floating between everyone's POVs in the midst of the same chapter, in the midst of the same page. I thought it would be confusing for me, but in the case of this one, once I was into the book, I very much had no issue with following all of those POVs. I thought it was very well done and really allowed this book to feel like more than just a romance or a contemporary fiction about one couple who's going through a hard time. Instead, we are following the lives of anywhere from 4 to 7 characters in the span of each chapter, and you get just enough about each character to be invested in them without having too much that goes on, if that makes sense. I don't know if any of the other books in this series follow more about the other people that are featured and their potential love story. I haven't actually confirmed that though, so I am unsure, but this is the second book in a series. I don't know if the series has been continued, but I really enjoyed just that mesh of people and all these stories. Yes, it's a love story, but yes, it's also a contemporary fiction story and a story about life and tension and broken people and finding your place, and I had a great time with it. So 4 stars to this one, and the recipe that I ended up baking, which was from chapter 13 of this book, which were the hot chocolate brownies. They ended up being pretty okay. I would give them like a 6 or a 7 out of 10. Taste, super rich. If you like fudge, the texture of the brownies the next day after they were made tasted like fudge. It had a very thick and fudgy consistency where it didn't taste like it was a super dry brownie, but it very much gave like fudge vibes with those, just the thick texture of it and everything. And I liked them. They're a little bit too rich for me personally, and I definitely needed a glass of milk to drink while eating them. But overall, it was great. I did go onto the blog post of somebody who had put the UK ingredients and like the measurements into measurements for people in America, because we don't use the same measurement types as in this book, and so that was very helpful. I also made a change in how I did the batter a little bit. I did milk chocolate chips in the batter, and then I poured dark chocolate chips into it because the original recipe called for dark chocolate to be melted and poured into the batter, and then you sprinkle milk chocolate chips before baking it. But I thought it would be way too rich that way, so I swapped it, and I'm glad that I did, because even then it was still very, very rich in flavor, which is not a bad thing. My husband really liked them. But overall, it was a great experience. They were fun to make. They're not my favorite dessert ever, but I'd give it a 6, 6.5, 7, somewhere in that range. I did like them, and people ate them at Christmas, which is good. But yeah, overall, I had a great time with this one. Very much enjoyed finding recipes in some books. This one, of course, was the winner for this vlog, but had a great time and would recommend this one, honestly, and I cannot wait to maybe try something like this again in the future. If you have read this book or anything else by Jenny Colgan, feel free to comment down below and let me know. This is my first one by the author, but I'm definitely interested in checking out more now and would be curious to hear your thoughts. But that's all that I have for today's video. Thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you all in the next one.